Welcome. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. And today, I got an amazing singer, producer, performer, self-proclaimed king of Christian R&B, multiple chart topper, Dove nominated. I can go down the list with so many accolades, but welcome, Jor'Dan Armstrong. What's up, man?
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. It's a pleasure to be here, man. I'm kind of sad it took me so long to get here, but I'm here.
Hey,
man.
you here, man. Hey, ain't no time like the present, my brother.
That's right, in God's time.
For those who are tuned in and not watching yet, my man's looking fresh as always. Yo, Jor'Dan stay camera ready. I ain't gonna lie. Every time you see it man pulled up to reach like Batman. I said, oh man. It's a vibe. No, it's good. I think when I see you and I hear your music, it don't seem like it's for. It seems like this is naturally how you. Yeah. It seems very natural.
It's natural, bro.
Is that? Tell me what it is about that like that makes you just so comfortable and like in your style.
I don't know.
Your element, man.
I think the style for sure comes from my mom.
Okay.
Now thinking back, man, we were poor, but thinking back now, my mom was spending a lot of her money that she was making on making me look good. And I think she got a kick out of literally dressing up her little kid, you know, her only child, growing up just being my mom. And I think she had a lot of fun dressing me up.
Really?
And I don't think she knew she was creating a monster when it came to
with your taste for fashion and style. And
bro, every week people at church were waiting to see what I was gonna wear on Sunday. It literally my whole life.
You gotta have some photos for this.
Oh, I do. I do. I have stuff.
They should remain online or in your.
I'll post them online for sure. They can see the drip from
the drip was the drip been there.
It's been dripping since before drip.
Oh yeah. Hey, talk that talk, man. But that's dope, man. So you so was your mom just like was it is it an escape or just a natural knack? Like tell me about what drove her mindset back then.
I really feel like, she knew I was something special. She would tell you, she tells me all the time, she knew I had something. And I think once she realized that I loved music, she really invested into that. So shout out to Mom because she was buying computers and getting me, sound equipment as much as she could get. We were buying stuff from the pawn shop to use. And back in the day, this was a big time for Dell computers. Dell was killing it.
I remember Dell.
They had TV commercials, everything. And so she bought me a Dell computer so I can put, back then it was called Fruity Loop. Now they call it FL Studio.
Oh, yeah.
So I had Fruity Loop on a floppy disk.
On a floppy
that one of my
disk.
homies gave me at school, in middle school. And that really changed it all, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Mom really invested, and she was a singer as well.
Okay. Is that how you got into music?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So my mom's side of the family is more of the singers and musicians.
Right.
So all of my uncles, everybody sings. We are a singing family.
Right.
And my dad's side is more the pastors and the entrepreneurs.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of had both worlds that I was seeing. And so I was always in church, of course, and my mom was singing background for tons of your favorite artists from Yolanda Adams.
Really? I didn't know that.
Hezekiah Walker. Yeah, she's...
you a gospel baby.
Oh, yeah, man. So I was always that little kid at late night rehearsals, sleep on the pew or something, or holding my stick, standing by the drummer, hoping one day I could play drums.
Really?
So that only little kid that was always around. And I knew from day one I wanted to do music, bro.
That's amazing. So where you? So obviously we're in Atlanta. Shout out the greatest city in the world. For those who disagree, see me afterwards. Where you from? Like what state?
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, I'm familiar with the people.
I know. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Born and raised there. I call Baton Rouge somewhat of a gumbo. And if you know anything
about... Is that pun intended? Or like...
Nah, it kinda. But I call it a gumbo because there's so many different things there.
Right.
So many different sounds, so many different types of people. Of course, we have the influence a bit of New Orleans, but we also have a Baton Rouge sound. We also have a Southern gospel sound. And I think mixing all of that stuff together kind of created the sound that I have.
Right.
Of course, with some R&B, where I wasn't really able to listen to R&B music growing up.
Oh,
but I had older cousins.
Older cousins. So your parents were strict with
my mom. So just
mom?
me and my mom. My mom and dad divorced when I was 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's literally been just me and mom.
No siblings?
No siblings, man. Just me and mom.
grinding
grinding, and it was fire actually.
It sounds like some people would on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up in a big family with a bunch of kids. Mom and dad stayed married till my dad passed. But at the same time, I think there's something special about. I think of like Kanye's Genius documentary.
Bruh.
There's something special about a mother and her son.
It was very familiar. My mom even saw it and sent it to me and was like, "This is so crazy." I'm like, "Ma, it's like watching us." Wow. It was the same exact way. She just supported me in everything musically. Like, she just pushed me and drove me in. We would write songs together in the car, come up with melodies in the car, like, as a kid. And I'm looking back now, like, wow, that was really, like,
that's
epic.
Unheard of, bro.
Yeah, that's like, why were we doing that?
We're making music with my mom,
yeah,
by the way.
Like, we would be in the car, and we would, she would start a melody, and then I would start a melody. We're just driving to the grocery store or something, and we would sing. We rarely had on the radio. Literally writing songs and
just a cappella.
Yeah, bro, a cappella. That's why melodies are one of my biggest things today. You know what I'm saying? And I keep giving shout out to mom, but mom started all of this, man. And it was just so great to spend all of those years with her, just me and her. It's like the bond was just amazing. It also helped me with women because I knew how to talk to women. It was a blessing and a curse because I had some bad times with women too.
I feel you. I mean, you know what? I feel like on one end, I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about relationships and the Black experience, specifically in the church, and how like sometimes single moms trying to raise young boys, there's a tension there. But I don't know, maybe because you were the only child, y'all had more like a friendship that you feel like kind of helped you, shaped you in a positive way.
Absolutely. And I didn't know what was happening then. I didn't know we were poor. I had no idea. I didn't know that every Thursday we would go to my aunt's house to eat because she would make spaghetti and we knew we could eat there for free. Or every Friday night, my mom would make breakfast when we're watching the lineup of Martin, Living Single, New York Undercover.
Talk about it.
We would eat. My mom would make breakfast, and I was like, "Why would you do breakfast at night like this?" And she was like, "Well, we can really eat off of this. We can grits." Eggs and sausage was so cheap. And so she just constantly, like through the years, was telling me how we were struggling really. And she did such an amazing job of not letting me know that. I never knew until now. I look back and I'm like, wow, we were poor.
I think sometimes, man, the older we get, and for people like you who are like clearly successful in their music career, sometimes you just zoom out. Yeah. And look at the hand that God had on you to form you. It almost take your breath away.
It's insane, man. And, it's such a blessing to have made it thus far. And, I always want to give everything back to mom.
That's what's up,
my biggest dream, just like any other person from the hood, is to take care of mama, buy mama the house, and have her living large without a care.
I love that.
And so that's still my goal. She's doing good right now. We helping, but I still haven't made it to where I want to, where she. I mean,
there's more on the other side. So talk about, obviously, man. You've Christian R&B is like your thing. Your moniker. Your what you embody. Like, how did you get from Baton Rouge to Atlanta? Like, tell me about that process pursuing music. Like,
yeah, man, it was rough. So in Baton Rouge, I grew up singing. My mom would have me sing at church. I think my first solo I did at church, I was at about 5 years old, and I didn't want to do it at all. I was like, I don't want to get in front of people. I was so nervous. And so she taught me this song for like 2 weeks, and she was like, on Youth Sunday, you're going to sing this song. She was making me do it, and so I got up there and I sang, and afterwards, the response from everybody was so amazing. I was getting candy from the church ladies and money and all kinds of stuff after service. So I'm like, oh, I can get into this, Right. So honestly, it really started off real carnal. It started off real like.
Hey, God had a plan.
Oh man, so I was just about the candy and things and the money at that time. Yeah. But after that, I was like, oh, this may be something that I'm interested in. Right. And from there, man, I started singing more, and I don't know. I just got better. I got better. I was always the little kid. It's almost like I got famous.
Right.
I was the little kid that's every time somebody big came in town, they would have me to open up as a kid. So when Kirk would come, I'm opening up. When Hezekiah Walker came, I'm opening up.
You was in there.
I was really like a kid star in Baton Rouge. And so after that, man, middle school came, then high school. I was like, I really want to do this professionally. And so as soon as I got out of high school, I met this guy, Teddy P, which was producing a lot of music for me on a lot of my albums with me. And we met this other guy by the name of Franchise Teef. He was from out of Houston. When Franchise Teef came, he kind of put a battery in our back. He was like, man, what y'all doing? Y'all could really take this to the next level. Like, y'all got to get out of Baton
You always
Rouge.
need that one dude in your corner.
Bro, he was so motivated.
You always need that one.
He was so motivated, and he turned us up. Like, he was like, bro, y'all can do this. He was like, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Atlanta, and we're going to go to all of the record labels and get them our demos. And I'm like, what? How are we going to do that? So he was like, I got a car. I'm going to drive there. I'm like, but we don't have any money. Where we going to stay? He was like, my mom has points for hotels. I'm going to get the hotels. We're going to do this. So he drives us down to Atlanta. We're literally looking on Google, just Googling addresses to all of these places. Mind you, this is still Atlanta. This is hot Atlanta at this time. It's still a so-so def billboard.
Okay.
Atlanta's still R&B. Now it's more hip hop to me.
For sure, yeah.
But Atlanta's still R&B, so it's a lot of the headquarters that are here.
Noontime,
everybody,
all that.
Man. LaFace still had a little billboard somewhere, representing. So I'm like, man, this is dope. So we're going in places. Some places are turning us around, and some places were accepting us. And so we went to Stankonia's studio. And
right around the corner.
Yep. We knocked on the door, man. And it's so crazy. Right around the corner. We knocked on the door, and this guy answered. He got a big old blunt. We like, man, what y'all want, man? What y'all got, studio? I was like, man, we just want to play our music. He was like, come inside. Came inside. We played the music for him. He loved it. He was like, I need y'all to write to these 3 tracks. This is all the same day. He's like, write to these 3 tracks, and I'll come back in 2 hours. Y'all stay in here. He left us in the studio. We're like, what the heck? We
That's
wild. Like, this is crazy. And I'm looking at this Franchise Teef. I'm like, bro, you really are crazy.
That's
you did
amazing.
This. So we go in, we write the songs. Buddy loves the songs. And he was like, I'm going to call y'all tomorrow to come back. He never called us back. He never called us back.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. He never called us back. But after that day, we were just like, oh, we could do this.
And let you know.
Oh man, that was all I needed.
And at the time, were you trying to do like faith-driven music?
I wasn't. I was doing it myself, but I was writing music, all kinds of music. I was writing rap verses, rap hooks for people. I was writing rap songs for people. I was writing R&B songs. I was doing everything. My biggest thing was to get placements. I had heard placements was a thing, and I heard that getting a publishing deal was a thing, or a record deal. So that's all I wanted.
Record deal, publishing deal,
that's
placement,
it.
Yeah.
I'll put my music out after that.
Oh, you were trying to get paid.
I was trying to get paid. I wanted to get rich. I saw all of the people that I loved and I looked up to was living it up. The Pharrells and the Timberlands and
right.
the
you
Rodney Jerkins.
You had to produce. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to be a hit songwriter, producer. And I knew going to Atlanta would be the place because that's where everybody passed through.
It is. And so like, yeah, I think that's so dope that, I mean, obviously you're an artist now, but your knack for wanting to be a producer, like drove you, like no pun intended, to Atlanta. And like really kind of propelled you to get where you are now. I think, in my opinion, some of the best artists have always been producers.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they can just see the full picture.
Yes, man.
And there's something about being a producer, writer, where you can like get out the way and let the song live. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with artistry, it's complicated, you know what I'm saying?
It definitely gets complicated. Sometimes when you're just an artist, I don't know, I see you kind of different. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole lot that goes to that than just coming in and singing what we wrote and what we produced and then you slide.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we put a lot of work into this.
Just cut that.
Yeah, man.
I know that's some of the artists are like, yeah, but I got to go out perform.
You do.
It's definitely. I'm a producer, obviously.
I know. Yeah.
So like, I empathize with you. But
Yes, sir.
I would love to take a break, man, and get into more of your story in the next segment, man. This is amazing. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm here with the amazing, incredible Jor'Dan Armstrong. We'll be right back. Tap in soon. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I am your host, Ace Harris, here with
Jor'Dan Armstrong.
Hey, I wish I could say my name so cool like that. It must be an R&B thing. I just you know,
I'm just saying my name.
Nah, forget that, man. Come on, man. Nah, but this has been good, man. Obviously, me and you have known each other for a little bit in passing, but I never really sat down with you, which is a shame on my part.
Nah, that's on my part too, man. You know, but I always say God knows the best timing, man.
For sure.
This is it, because we wouldn't have sat down like this back then.
I'm getting to learn you in real time.
Yeah.
Which on this segment, which is just super fun, because I love.
Thank you.
Like we talked about in the break, I just maybe because Kobe's one of my favorite athletes. I love the grind. I love the process.
Yeah.
I love the results too, but I really love the process. And I love hearing artists like, I mean, this is probably somebody that's seeing the number ones and all this, the Grammy connections, all these different things, and they're like, I want to be like Jor'Dan.
Wow.
But help them understand what you went through to get here.
Man, a lot.
Like you're in Atlanta, pitching beats, trying to be a producer, trying to be a songwriter. What happened next? Like what?
I went through a lot, man. You know, even moving from Baton Rouge to Atlanta, I knew this is where I needed to be. I knew this was the city for entertainment, especially black entertainment too. I was really big on that. And, you know, Atlanta was great to me from the start. It definitely inspired me. I come from a city with only one tall building downtown, which was the state capitol. And I come to Atlanta and I saw that skyline, and I was like, wow, this is it. This is the big city.
For sure.
And my goal was to make a name for myself here, through songwriting, producing, and also being an artist myself, you know, for the Christian community. I thought I had something to say, and I thought I had a different flavor to bring. I was always searching for music that I liked, and I never could find music that I completely liked.
And say a little bit more about that.
I mean, especially in the Christian community, I think I went through a time to where it was either this or that. It was either gospel sound of music, or it was Christian hip hop. It was never a flavor of in between.
I feel that.
And this is before, you know, now we got Christian R&B, we got all this stuff.
It's popping now, eh?
Yeah, like it's really hot. But at the time when I was doing it, nobody wanted to hear that. You know, everybody thought I was back then it was Illuminati. They were like, oh, this must be Illuminati. I was putting up videos and putting stuff out on YouTube, man, and people were bashing it, man. They were
How did you break through? I mean, because this is you. I mean, in all due respect, man, like the Christian R&B space is sizzling right now.
Yeah.
Because shout out the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
And I want to just pay homage and honor to you because I feel like you're one of the pioneers that opened a lot of doors for this sound, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
I really feel like we can't talk about the rise of Christian R&B without mentioning your name as one of the forefront people that's kind of just been kicking the door open.
Yeah, and there was some people before me, you know what I mean? I won't take all of the credit, and people give me my flowers and say, you know, you to go to this or those things, and I appreciate that, but it was people before that inspired me, you know, even Kenton Jones.
Kenton Jones was in there, for sure.
You know, Kenton was one of those people that was doing it different.
Sure.
And I was inspired by that. I really took all of the things that I was inspired by and just turned it up myself.
Right.
But again, like I was trying to find music that I wanted to hear. I was a lover of music, and I felt like I got to a certain age and a certain phase in my life to where the gospel sound wasn't doing it for me.
That's such a nugget that you just said. Like I almost just want to retweet that. The gospel sound, it wasn't like edifying.
It wasn't
to you,
connecting with me anymore. I had gotten to an age to where I would say about 19. I love Pastor Shirley Caesar. I love all of the greats, but I just wasn't connected. Like wasn't making.
And did you feel like there were other people that were in life or in a certain part of life that you were at that needed to find something different?
And I was around those people all the time. I grew up in the hood. I lived in almost every hood in Baton Rouge. And so even those people were like, I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can I? And so I started kind of developing a sound to where I knew what would catch their attention, and I would use that sound with the message of Jesus.
Amazing.
Over it.
But it sounds easy, but
right.
There were some detractors. Okay, because let's talk about it.
You can't be corny though, too. And
right.
So it's kind of like you got to be cool already.
It's like a fine line.
It is.
Because you mentioned Christian hip hop. Shout out the pioneers of that space.
Absolutely.
Shout out to obviously Lecrae, the GOAT, 116 Life.
Yes, man.
Which is amazing. However, Christian hip hop had a struggle initially of like the message is Jesus, the content is pure, but the sonics is like sound like you in the club.
Yep.
And the church fought back against that. And obviously things had broken through a little bit, but I mean with Christian R&B, I mean I've heard people just being frank early on saying things like, "Yo, this sound like bedroom music."
Yep.
That's
the kind of stuff.
How did you deal with that pushback, and how did you keep pushing through, man?
It was rough sometimes, but I stayed away from it. I had a good circle around me. It's God is so good because He always kept people around me that believed in me sometimes more than I believed in myself. And on some of those days when I felt like, what am I doing this for? I would run into a homie or somebody like, bro, are you crazy? Like, dude, you need to, what? I just played this for some of my homies that don't even go to church. They say stuff like that. They don't even want to hear anything about God. And they love this stuff. And so, honestly, I think that's what kept me motivated, man. Just my circle.
That's amazing.
Really did. They empowered me. And also, I had a belief that Jesus had given me this gift for that.
For that reason?
Yeah. Like, I never, ever wanted to sing R&B music. I never wanted to be a hip-hop rapper. I never did. I always knew I wanted to be, I didn't know what it's called, but I wanted to be a Christian R&B
Really?
artist.
You wanted to, never had a leaning? Because,
never.
Man, can we just put that there? There's so many people in like the Christian hip-hop and or Christian music space that's not their story.
And I knew they were making more money, too. Because money was a thing for me, too. But I was just like, man, I know God is really calling me to do this.
So you weren't trying to sing like the content of main. You weren't trying to.
I didn't sing the girls. I didn't do none of that stuff, bro. I never did.
You just never, because God couldn't give me no singing gift.
Bro,
I'd be out there,
crazy.
Man.
Yeah, look, there's some gifts that God shouldn't give me. That I was like, thank God you didn't give me that. I always want. I was like, what if I was an amazing guitar player? I would probably be just such a terrible guy. But God
Jor'Dan
gives you, He gives you, bro. Yeah, like
He gives you what you need.
He gives you, man, what you need. And so, yep.
Talk about what was the moment, and I think I have an idea, but I want you to correct me.
Yeah.
Was Shower Down like that?
Favor.
Favor. Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool.
I always refer to that way. Was that one of the records that you felt like cut through the gatekeepers of gospel Christian music with this sound? Like, tell me how that happened. And
definitely, man. I feel like that song is like the 5th time I had done that. I think this is just that time was the first time everyone kind of heard it. But I had been doing that type of music or that sound or that feel for 10 years before that. You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time I was able to actually have radio presence. And I think that was super cool for me because I realized that I didn't have money for a radio budget. I didn't even know you needed radio budgets at that time. I thought you just called a radio station or pull up and ask them, could they listen to this and add it to the radio?
Right.
And where I'm from, that's how you work the radio, honestly. You just bring your CD. But how I was introduced to radio was I did this record I wrote and produced for a guy by the name of Uncle Reese. It was called Can't Help Myself. And he was looking for a second single for radio because he had Until I Pass Out.
Sure.
And so when he did Until I Pass Out, I ran into them at the Stellar Awards.
Yeah.
And
shout out networking.
Yeah, man. And so his manager at the time was Tario, who's my manager now. And he had a gang of other guys with him. And they were like, bro, this is the guy we were playing all the way here. And so they were like, bro, we were just playing your album all the way here. Like, you're fire, blah, blah, blah. I was like, thank y'all. I had never heard of Reese, all right? So he was like, I got a #1 song right now. This song going crazy. I'm like, cool. So they're like, when we get back home, like, let's link. So I got back to Atlanta, and he was like, man, I'm looking for my second single. They flew into Atlanta to come and see me. And I was like, I got this song that I was going to release myself. I was like, I got this song, man. I think it'll be dope for you. I played it. He loved the song. I had some verses on it. He took the verses off and put his verses, and I just kept the hook. And the success of that song really introduced me to radio.
Gotcha.
And so now my name was attached to that. So now when I came back to radio with my own single,
they're
go. Already kind of familiar.
There you go.
And from there, man, I sonically knew, I don't know how I did, but I just sonically knew what gospel radio needed from me. From melody-wise to tempo to chord structure,
even the content, the lyrics,
even the concepts,
so much
too.
favor, like that.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very
just coming up with stuff that's kind of undeniable. Like you can't hate on that. You know
sure.
what I mean? It doesn't matter who you are. If you're the old granny to the young person, it's so much grace and favor falling on me.
Yeah,
like, you can't deny that. You can't deny. Hold up, wait a second. Let me brag on my God.
For sure.
You just can't.
Because I don't care. I think that statement is like, I mean, I can literally, everybody can relate to that because it's something that God has done in your life.
Absolutely.
Even people who don't even believe in him.
That's right. If you're a devoted Christian that goes to church every Sunday and every week, or if you're just a person that knows who God is and you pray every once in a while when you're in trouble or whatever, that song still relates to you. So I think I learned that from radio and from listening to all of the greats that I grew up on. Thank you, brother.
And I feel like Favor was a moment that sonically did a lot for the sound that you're creating now. Which I mean, I remember seeing you. I definitely was tapped in back then. Seeing you at different spaces and like, okay, this dude Jor'Dan Armstrong's making a way for himself. Fast forward, I mean, things are starting to get in motion.
Yeah.
Even to Church Girls Love R&B.
Yeah.
Even the your number one single, all the stuff that led up to that, I felt like it was like the ice was starting to break.
Yep.
Sonically, because sometimes, like, shout out to my gospel people and my CCM people, and I just want to honor what the sound is, but I want to make this clear distinction right here on this show, and just kind of like big you up too.
Thank you.
Especially sitting here and Reach, like, gospel music does not have a sound.
Yeah, no.
You cannot pigeonhole gospel music sonically.
No.
What was the sound of Pentecost and Acts? It was not CCM chords or gospel organs. Basically, what I'm trying to say is God allows us creativity to redeem the sounds of culture and impart the content of his word in the music. And that can change the way people see God and see the world.
That's fact.
So we need to stop pigeonholing, this sounds demonic. This sounds like bedroom music. This sounds like club music. What does gospel music really sound like?
I think it's cool now because we're kind of getting out of that. And maybe people are still saying that, but I haven't heard that in a while now. I feel like we're getting a bit more accepted.
Shout out, man.
Yeah, and it's been a long time coming. Like I said, like I remember when nobody wanted to hear it, but then I remember some albums later on where it'll be a whole live project of Tasha Cobbs or Bishop Murphy, but the last two songs was an urban song, studio song. And I was like, oh, we kind of creeping in. We getting in there. And then now, we're in a space to where everybody wants. It's almost like you have to have a song with some 808s or some snaps
I still need K-Love to play records with 808s on it, though. Just so
like,
y'all know.
Everybody
y'all be hating, man. Oh my goodness.
It's okay, K-Love. We coming. We coming.
We coming.
Because this is the thing, though. You do it so much, man, where they have to. It's just gonna be.
Upon this rock, I'll build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail.
Yeah, man.
There's so much I want to unpack, but just to kind of wrap up a little bit, because into our next segment, I want to talk about. Well, I was at your album release party for Church Girls Love R&B.
Okay.
I was there in the crowd.
Oh, dope,
I bought a ticket, bought some merch, pulled up, supported
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And I saw, honestly, predominantly women.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is interesting. Like,
yeah,
this is not like a Christian hip hop crowd. This is like people love, church girls do love
they
R&B.
Do, indeed.
And you've been married for how long?
I've been married 7 years now. 7 years, man. And that's super dope that you said that, because believe it or not, women or females are the biggest supporters of all of the genres. They listen to all of us the most. They buy the most, and I really felt like at a time that I had a calling to speak to women. I felt like at a time I wasn't qualified yet.
Okay.
But I had some things that I wanted to say to them, and I also wanted to give them a voice. I was a bad dude out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I was in a lot of places I shouldn't have been when it came to women. And I almost feel like God kind of gave me a ministry for it. And so with Church Girls Love R&B, man, I wanted to speak for them, show them that they're protected, and also give them tools on how to deal with heartbreak, because we don't talk about Christians going through heartbreak. We don't talk about that ever. Like, we don't get our heart broken, I guess, and we don't go through divorce, and we don't have issues. But the church is always pushing us to find your wife, find that good thing, but what about when it goes left? How do I get over this? Even if it isn't a relationship, let's say it's just you and your homie, y'all not cool no more. How do I get past that? I miss him. That's my dog. That was my dog. So I felt like Church Girls Love R&B was, first of all, the statement is a fact, but the tools I felt like I had that God had given me, I wanted them to know. And I also wanted, the ladies to feel special and not to always come from someone talking under their pants, under their skirt.
I think we need more of that in culture, just in general. So definitely want to pick this up more back on the next segment, man. This is just having a great time talking with you. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm here with
Jor'Dan.
I'm Ace Harris, tapping in, having a good time. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back, y'all. This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. I'm your host, Ace Harris, here with
Jor'Dan Armstrong.
Hey, we're having a good conversation. It's talking about, faith, culture, life. This is the 116 Life where we embody those things. And I think on the, on the culture part, I think a big part of your ministry, the culture you embody is the culture of R&B intertwined with the lifestyle of relationships, which is something the church struggles, struggles,
they don't
and
talk
prayerfully
about
won't continue. It's a thing that I think sometimes we give the scriptures, we give the higher overarching, scriptural reasons, but the application though.
They give us the scriptures and they preach it to us and they send us home to go and figure it out. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that even when me and my wife got together and we were thinking about getting married, and I had proposed and everything, we were engaged, we did premarital counseling, and we went two routes. So I wanted the spiritual counseling. I wanted that from the pastor and the first lady. I want y'all to really give us that. But I also had premarital counseling with a couple that was, one of the guy was a R&B singer. He used to be an R&B singer. He's retired. And he had a wife, and it was really cool to kind of get both perspectives, because I know my foundation is Jesus Christ and all of those things, but I wanted that, but I also wanted the real too. Like, okay, so
we need that
after church.
After church,
what were y'all doing?
Wednesday night?
Yeah, Wednesday night. Whenever pastor comes from the back to come out and preach, what was going on before that? Did y'all have some beefs or something going on?
Dang.
So, I feel like a lot of times certain pastors or certain leaders wouldn't even tell you that. They don't want you to know about that.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to be judged, or maybe they want to seem holy, but I don't know. I'm just a realist. Like, I wanted both. I wanted to know how to get through situations. And I knew the Bible. I knew what God. I was in church my whole life, every week, all week. More than I should probably want it to be.
Right.
So I get it. I know it all. Not that I know it all, but I know enough. Yeah, my foundation is there. But I needed real life situations. I wanted real life counseling. And so we got both. But anyway, I really feel that helped us because going into marriage, bro, we just kept it real with one another. I let all my secrets out. She let all her secrets out, man. And we were able to start fresh.
All the counts.
Honestly. We started fresh in love and grew from there. Yeah. That was beautiful for me.
I think that's important because your music, even like the song Wild and that's one of my favorite joints on the project. I love that joint.
Thank you.
But I think you're important because you deal with the complexities of relationship in the context of being a Christian.
Yep.
And a lot of I think sometimes we be hating on the singles people, but we be so hard on them. But I think it's good for them to have something to listen to.
Absolutely.
For somebody who is married but not like waving their marriage in your face like I know it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think you can weaponize your marriage in a way that props you up as like, I figured it all out.
Yep.
Go get married and don't be out here single.
Yeah.
When I think the musically it's important to have just some other content out there to help people with those. I mean, say more about that.
Yeah, I mean that's always good. That's my ministry to me. To speak to that demographic, to speak to those people.
Yeah,
the single women in church, the single fellas in church. To encourage them. Like your time is coming. You're gonna find that beautiful person, and here's what you can possibly look for. When I was thinking of a wife when I was younger, it was just a look. It wasn't even a person. It was it's like, oh, that looks like my wife right there. You know what I'm saying? But, growing up, you start realizing there's certain things that you need. My wife is beautiful, but the mind that we share with one another is a freaking 20 dime piece. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's way better than we could ever look, and so that was big for me to find someone that I can share that with mentally because, later on, none of this will matter. None of it. When we're sitting up with teeth falling out. Yeah, when our teeth falling out, we still have our minds to live off of. And I think that's special too. So I don't know, man. My biggest thing is to find that good thing and lock it up, man. I locked my wife up fast. Once I realized she was it, I was like, yeah, I can't live without her. I didn't want to live without her, and I would have hated if somebody else.
Oh yeah, got with it for you. How do you like balance being like a mentor to other? Because we talk about this specifically, and I don't want to alienate any other cultures. I know we have many listeners and our audience is broad, but I just want to lean into like our culture a little bit, specifically black men, black relationships. Like, how do you carry that mantle as like a mentor? And why is it so important for, you to like be a lover of one woman, have a godly union? Because I mean, sometimes I feel like when you turn on the radio, man, R&B, you be like, man, it's bad out here, fam. Yeah. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I think that is the space now is changing. Even a lot of your favorite rappers now, they have one girlfriend. I think that's really great. They take them with them. They show them off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody's it's like a thing now to have a girl and not have many girls. Now, I don't know if they're still doing that, behind the scenes. They got one lady next to them that they're representing. And I think that's a good step forward, especially with those people being such a great influence on a lot of people. But I think it's really great to see a person like myself, being a Christian guy that is trendy and, likes nice things, but also loves God loves his wife and his family to death.
That's amazing.
I didn't get to see a lot of that from people on TV or famous people in magazines. Sure. I saw it at home. I saw it with my grandparents. I didn't get to see it at my house because my mom was a single mother. Yeah. And so I always knew I wanted to represent that. I'm big on family too. So I don't know, man. I just want my influence or the way that I live to influence other people. And it's so cool because when we're on tour, everybody's asking for my wife.
Really? That's so. I mean, you know what? Because you really like. I mean, y'all. I mean, everybody's relationship is different, but I think from a kingdom, you like putting it out there. You embracing her. Y'all loving on each other publicly, which I think is a good model for us, for people who are just sometimes maybe scrolling too much on the negative messaging and things that they see. It's good to have that's a okay,
and it's different,
and I don't want to say like. #go. I'm not saying we're trying to like prop up these perfect pictures. Right. I'm saying it's good to have some healthy representation.
It's amazing because too, like I said, even on tour too, people are. It's kind of different. So R&B artists, most of the women there want to be with him. They want to be with the artist, and or they think they're so attractive and amazing. Sure. But it's different because when you come to my shows or you're on my tour, I'm constantly bigging up my wife. And I think after the shows, people are coming to me saying, wow, I want what y'all have. And that's kind of different. That is very inspiring to a man and a woman who is searching for their love.
That's really good. It's a different spin on it.
Vibe, different
super different vibe.
Yeah, so when I'm passing out roses at Church Girls Love R&B, it's not because I want you. It's because there's someone there for you. You see what me and my wife have? This can happen for you. And not that we're perfect, but you can find that special person that can change your life and take you to the next level.
That's amazing.
And just like my wife did for me.
That's amazing. So I wanna just fire off some of your accolades, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think it's important to you've been through a lot, Jor'Dan. Like you really from Baton Rouge to going to Atlanta to knocking on Stankonia's door to doing that song with Uncle Reese to getting to radio programmer to My God going #1 to Church Girls Love R&B to the Dove nominations.
All of that.
I mean, so My God goes #1. Spinning everywhere. I mean, literally the song was everywhere. How did that feel for you?
It felt like a graduation. Like you've been in school from kindergarten to 12th grade, and now you get to walk across the stage. Just how that feeling feels. You probably can look up videos now. It's probably kids dancing on the stage. That's how I felt. But I also knew that college was coming. And I knew it was time to get right back into it.
Okay.
That's kind of how I saw it. And honestly, I'm really big on, favor and blessings from God. But I'm like, if I did it once, then I can do it again. And I'm not impressed myself. I didn't impress myself. I was happy about it, but I'm like, if you can do it, keep doing it.
And you actually did do it again.
But look, now I'm like, okay, well then you need 3 times. You know how they treat LeBron? Right. That's how I treat myself.
Do you, and speaking of like, obviously this is, our ethos, man, our thing that we embody is faith, music and culture, being unashamed of the gospel. How do you embody that in Jor'Dan's world? Being unashamed of the gospel, managing and balancing material success and godly success and being faithful to whose God's made you. How do you be unashamed in your walk and in your music and your ministry? Like,
it's hard sometimes. Sometimes I need the reminder. Sometimes God sits me down and he'll do it in all kinds of ways. Sometimes I'm stuck somewhere, or sometimes I had a layover, that flight canceled and I'm stuck in Buffalo, New York at a Hilton. And God's like, okay, I want to sit you down. Let's chat.
Let's chat.
And so, I have those moments often. I'm not happy about them. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, okay, I didn't know you wanted to talk to me that bad. I would definitely stop. You didn't have to bring me here. But he does whatever he has to do to keep me reminded of why I started into this. The ministry part of it. Sometimes even with all the accolades you said, you start thinking about numbers, because this is also business too.
For sure.
For me, I start thinking about numbers. I have to cross this. I have to do that. I have to make sure this media post is done, that. And sometimes I get caught up in that. How many #1s and how many this and that. But God really takes a moment and sits me down and reminds me of why I started, and it's for souls. It's for people to know who he is. I wave the banner for that, and I want to do that for the rest of my life. And so sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need that breakdown to remind me. And when I'm out and about and people say, I know, are you Jor'Dan on the show? I'm like, yeah. They're like, bro, you helped me through college or my transition, or when I first got saved, you were the person I played all the time. And those type of things remind me. It's like testimonies that keep me going, bro. So beyond the numbers now, of course, after someone wins so much, they're like, okay, I don't need to win anymore because I'm good. But I'm excited for the future, and of course I want to win, but my biggest goal is to win souls.
That's beautifully said, man. And a reminder for me too, and all of us, of like, we like to material success is fine in the right context. But like you said earlier, all this is going to literally fade away.
It's gonna be gone. It's gone.
What are we building our houses?
Hey, come on, bro. Them shoes, that watch ain't gonna even be fly in 2 years that we spending money on.
Gonna be gone.
I have that issue sometimes.
Me too.
I buy stuff and I do things, but bro, it's really all about ministry. Why did we start doing this? Why the feeling that you felt when nobody was listening and you made these records, in the beginning.
That's
sometimes
golden.
I have to go back to that. I do.
That's golden, man. Well, shoot, man. What's going on? I mean, we've said so much, and it's been good having you. Tell the people, man, what you got coming up on the horizon, without giving away the exclusive. Yeah, something that you're working on. You're excited to put your hands and heart to.
Yeah, I'm working on a lot, man. I'm definitely working on some radio opportunities that I have. I'm starting my own show soon.
Okay.
That's kind of under wraps.
Okay.
Too.
That's a good lane. I can see you. Say less.
Definitely that. Of course, more music. I have 3 EPs that are dropping from now till January.
Wow.
Yep. I kind of did a lot of music because I knew we were having a baby, and I wanted to stay home with the baby and have the music kind of do it. So I had stuff in the pipeline.
Congrats on the baby again.
Thank you. Yeah. Shout out to my wife and shout out to Epic Elaine Armstrong, our baby girl. That and I have a single at radio right now that just hit top 30. It's called You.
Yeah, I see that.
Which is at radio right now too, which is doing really well.
It's streaming pretty good too.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good, man. And shout out to the streaming, everybody that's streaming, because I remember when gospel and certain Christian music was transitioning to streaming.
Yeah.
And shout out to everybody, because I was kind of one of the first people, because my listeners were already streaming, but they weren't buying CDs. And at the time, everybody's like, they're not buying your CDs. We need to get your CDs. I was like, well, they're streaming, but streaming was the future. So my listeners were already streaming. So shout out to everybody for streaming, bro.
Streaming it's like a residual investment. It's long game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and also for the people who have been living under a rock, where can they find you? Drop your social handles.
No, you can find me everywhere. I'm on all social media outlets. But if you want to find me quicker, you can hit me on Instagram at Where's Jor'Dan. That's WHERESJOR_DAN. And that's my handle everywhere. So Where's Jor'Dan? But holla at me.
For sure. Man, this has been great, man.
Thank you, brother.
A lot of good conversation.
It's been amazing.
This is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius Channel 154. Shout out our producer, Matt, always holding it down for us. And we'll see y'all next time.